So I'm going to start with the interface on the teacher side here and show a little bit, and then I'll let Skip jump in here with points and things as well. But this is kind of the interface for our classroom management product. Our classroom manager product is tied directly to our content filter. Those are all connected together here. And then this is designed to be a really simple, easy to use screen for teachers to get started in looking at the student screens in a class. The product itself is an extension-based filter and an extension-based classroom manager product. The filter and the extension or the extension and the classroom manager are all in one there. So once the extension is pushed, the classroom manager works and the filter works as well too. I'll go ahead and use this first class as an example here. So this is say, an earth science class, for example. A couple things here I can do right away. I can come in and I can make some adjustments to that class. I can go ahead and change the name. I can also come in and add co-teachers. And this is a feature that a lot of customers have mentioned is very valuable, very useful in their day to day. Co-teachers will have full control of screens just like main teachers will. So it's a great way of there's a particular student issue or something like that, principal, somebody else to come view what's going on with things. Really easy way to go ahead and have somebody else also jump in and help out with that. In this demo environment here, I just have one student. Of course, that's not realistic. Most classes are going to have a bunch of students listed out here, but there is a way to come in here and quickly be able to add additional students as I need to a class, or remove students too if they're going to be out of the class or something of that nature there. And then this default scenes here. So the teacher control will be something called scenes, and scenes are going to be automatically applied via the classroom manager here. And then that's going to be what starts things off there. So in this case, there's an earth science scene, so that's immediately going to go ahead and open up some different tabs and set some things and set kind of the process for that class to start with there. So anything you'd like to add there, commentary wise, Skip?
No. Do you guys support rostering from other sources?
Yep, that's a great point. Thank you, Skip. So at the very bottom here, you're going to see we've got a number of different sources listed out for classrooms as well, too. So right now, supported is going to be Google Classroom. We also do support the one roster standard that a lot of SIS vendors are going to be using. Also have Schoology in here, Canvas, and then we of course support a more manual file upload style as well, too. Though that's something that's we don't try to do too often there, but is available in those situations where it is needed there.
The automation is always helpful.
Definitely, definitely, and yeah, Skip can definitely attest to automation being important there. As working at Clinton School District for all those years. So, additionally, on the classroom side too, teachers can pre-schedule their classes ahead of time, so they don't have to come in each day and manually start the class and get things going. For some classes, it might make more sense for that to be the case, but for especially in the upper grade levels, middle, high school, it's probably going to make sense where hey, they've got a pretty standard schedule where my fifth period class is going to be at this time. This is when things are going to be happening here. Schedules can also have a start date and an end date. When the semester changes over, you might say, okay, yep, now my fifth period class is going to be different, or I'm not teaching a fifth period class anymore. So you can go ahead and have those schedules run that way as well too. And then there is an ability to go back and look at the history of the class. We'll do that after we go ahead and actually run a classroom here. I'm going to go ahead and just do something really simple here. We'll just do this kind of 60-minute one. We're obviously not going to spend 60 minutes in here. You can also do custom durations as well too for the classroom manager. So then once I go ahead and press start here, my class has been started. I'll have to apologize. My screen is tilted, so it's going to look a little bit goofy, but you still get the idea there of what happens when a student joins. So here at the top, pretty basic. I'm in this main session. I can search for a specific participant. I can change the screen size if I want to. So in those situations where there's a bunch of kids in the class, there are ways to really minimize that screen size. A little bit more difficult to tell exactly what the kid's doing, but still able to get as many screens as possible on there. So the idea there, you want to be able to see all of those screens that the kids have. There's also an option for a list view. Probably not something most people are going to be using too often, but something that we do have available there as well. So then with the student screen itself, we're able to see what they're getting into here. We can hover over these favicon icons to quickly see what the students, other tabs the students might have open. I can screenshot the screen, which will save that as a local screenshot. I can also come in here too and close the tab that they currently have open. I can also kick the student from the class if I need to. So these are some helpful features there for teachers when students are in that class session and they are trying to take control of what the student might be getting into there. And with this one here, this session automatically launched with a number of websites automatically pushed out to the students. This is a really helpful way to start controlling that class immediately. So we've got some features that are called focus mode, which I'll show in a little bit as well. But it's a really nice way where we can kind of say, hey, the students are coming into the class. Maybe they've got tabs of YouTube open, or Skip can attest. There's all kinds of things kids can have open on their Chromebooks when they first walk into class there. Um, but that's something that will be helpful in controlling what's going on in the class side of things there. Um, anything you want to add there, Skip?
I mean, the focus mode is really kind of nice though, because then it also by locking them in, it helps to limit the tabs and close everything else that they have open. So you all have those students that like to open like 20 tabs and then wonder why their Chromebook isn't working properly.
Absolutely. So the way things will be controlled in Classroom Manager is going to be via scenes here. So you'll see I have this Earth Science scene that's been automatically applied. If I go into that scene, I'm able to see what sites are allowed currently. So it's just these four sites. I'm blocking all sites except for those. And then I could come in and add a site on the fly too if I needed to. So if it turns out, hey, my student needs this extra site, really easy to get that added. Or hey, there's something else I need to go ahead and block. I could do that too. In this case, I don't have to worry about that because I'm blocking all sites. And then this is the focus mode that Skip was mentioning. So focus mode is going to go ahead and lock the students to these four specific tabs. If the student tries to go to a different website, anything like that, it's going to automatically close that on the student's end as well. And then these scenes can be shared. So we can see here, I've shared this scene over to Skip as well, so he has access to it. And you can choose what level of access people have to those scenes. They can have view access, editor access, or ownership access as well. So way to collaborate across as well too. And then there's always going to be a session default because if we actually do click into the screen of the student, we can go through and we can block tabs of the student. We can close tabs. We can also set things as active as well. So this is a really easy way to push the student over to a different web page. Going to be pretty fast to go ahead and set the student on the correct page that you want them on. And then you're able to see exactly what the student's doing. Then at the bottom, those same icons again available, and then the same ability to take a screenshot or go through and view the history or close things as well. And then I can always turn off a scene. So this delete doesn't actually delete the scene, but it just removes that scene. So then I could release the students back to whatever I wanted them to do now. So I could say, hey, I'm going to move on to a different scene. So I could create a brand new scene on the fly here and allow or block things. Or I could go into my existing scene library and add something from there as well, too. So teachers can pre-build these scenes ahead of time. Makes it really easy for them to apply stuff to the class on the fly or ahead of time as well, too. And then towards the bottom here is going to be tabs. So this is where, Skip was mentioning, hey, they might have 20 tabs open of something, or they're getting into something they shouldn't be. So this block and close will close or block for everybody in the class. The block does block for everyone in the class as well, but the close will go ahead and close this tab for everybody, not just the one student there. So if you were seeing the student suddenly over on uh, on YouTube a bunch of times there, and they're just really going crazy with the duplicating tab option there for some reason. Um, we can see that reflected in there, and we can see, hey, they're going to YouTube here. They've got YouTube tabs open. I could come in here and I could close or block that as well too. So we can see, hey, they've got 7 tabs of YouTube open now. So you can see it's pretty snappy in responding to that, pretty snappy in figuring out what might be going on. And I could say, yeah, they're really not supposed to be on YouTube there. So go ahead and close that. All 7 tabs are going to close now. Now you see the students back just on those websites I want the student to be on there. So really easy way for the teachers to really control what's going on in the classroom that way. And then open tab here is a great way if the teachers need to push something out to the students as well. So simply just submit it and then pulls it right up. So really nice way to help handle those sorts of things there. And then at the bottom here, we'll have a chat functionality. So teachers can push out announcements, or they can push out chats to individual students as well. And students do have the ability to respond to that. There's a little extension icon there, and if the students were to click on it, it'll go ahead and show the chat, and then they're able to message back to a teacher. Oh, I can see there. So if a student messaged me back, I'm able to see that right here as well too, and that's reflected in here. So, and then the chats on the teacher side are going to be logged, so you're able to see what the teacher said in the class, what was going on that way too. But the idea here with Classroom Manager is it's supposed to be very easy, very simple to get people up and running, not too complicated on that end. So, um, anything else I'm missing there, Skipper, that you'd like to add?
Um, no, I think that's pretty good. One thing to note too, when announcements do come through on the student Chromebooks, it shows it in the extension icon, but it also does show up in the notification tray down at the bottom right corner of the screen on the student's Chromebook as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those it'll pull up as a Chrome notification, so a really nice way too to let students know, hey, this is what's happening in the class. Here's what's going on. Final feature we have on the Classroom Manager side is there's the ability to add child sessions or sub sessions. These are sessions you can use for breakout room, teachers can use for breakout rooms, or can be used if there's one particular student that you need to keep a closer eye on or lock down. The nice thing with this is going to go ahead and pull that student over to that child session, but I can still see that student in the main session. So I now have kind of two ways I can keep an eye on the student. So if I've broken the students out to a bunch of different areas, I'm able to come back into that into those different child sessions. I can take a peek at just those specific students if I want to, but I can always come back to that main session to see what everybody's doing as well too. So, really nice way if there is a need to break out students or go ahead and lock a specific student down a little bit more closely, or potentially allow a few more things through. That's the other important thing too, because the Classroom Manager interfaces directly with the filter. If there's a site that would normally be blocked, but the teachers need it, it can be allowed through for that class session. And then once the class session ends, teacher will go back to normal there, or the browsing will go back to normal rather. So excellent. I think that's everything on the classroom side there. Um, and then the nice thing too with Classroom Manager is Classroom Manager is a much newer product from Managed Methods, so we're always working on making enhancements and improvements. Certainly this is not a product where it's done and that's it. We're adding all kinds of new features. There'll be a new feature to allow teachers to present their screens that's coming pretty soon. So that's one of the other big new features that will be coming.
A couple of questions have come rolling
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
here, Chuck. Jonathan asks, is there a view when they have more than one desktop?
It should be whatever the desktop that's active is that what we should be looking at. That's something that we've run across because we are extension based. There are some limits on what our capabilities are, but if they do have multiple desktops open, it should kind of show all the tabs still. It can look a little goofy, but there should be a way to see that still.
And then Daniel asks if it's just for Chromebooks with Chrome, or could it be used with Windows environments as well?
Yeah, it should work on Windows fine. Actually, I'm on Windows today as well. It just has to be on the Chrome browser or the Edge browser. It is browser based, so but yeah, Windows device works. Skip, you're on an app on Apple, and it works as long as you're on Chrome. We just don't support Safari or Firefox or some of those other browsers currently on the extension side.
All right. And then another question here from Cole, asking if there's a delay in showing the student screen, and if so, what's the accepted amount of time to wait for that student screen to show up?
Yeah, there's going to be a slight delay. It's not exact real time, unfortunately. That technology is not quite there yet. There is some latency as with everything. I believe it's about 10 seconds or so. There's a checker that's constantly checking in the background for changes on the screen, so it's pretty rapid. So if I move tab here, it'll take a couple seconds certainly to kind of show that new tab that the student's over to, but it will go ahead and show that tab. So there you go. So probably about between 7 to 10 seconds or so is typically about the latency on that.
And if we're tired of waiting, is there a way to try and manually push a refresh?
Um, Not anymore. There used to be a button here that did that, but I don't believe that manually does that anymore. It's the architecture on the back end now is constantly checking, so it'll just continuously keep checking there. So that button may be a way to go ahead and do that. But typically speaking, it'll just be the back end will be fast enough to go ahead and get that pulled through there.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Skip. Great. So we'll go ahead and end the class session here on that end, and then that's going to go ahead and push us back to the main screen we were just on here. It'll take a moment to go ahead and end the session, but then we will go ahead and get pushed back out and say, hey, we don't have any active classes, so then we end back up on this main screen here. The other thing that teachers will have available in their teacher view is scenes. So scenes again is where they can create those various allows or blocks or things like that. So they can go in and modify existing scenes. They can certainly create new scenes on the fly as well too. So certainly that's all possible to do on the teacher end. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing here for a moment and I'm going to switch over to the admin view and then also our content filter. All right. So on the admin side, you're going to have a little bit more control than a day-to-day teacher will, of course, because you need to be able to actually manage things. So one of the things that we have in here is the ability to go in and you as an admin can start sessions. You can make modifications to sessions on the fly if you need to. You can also view which sessions are active, and if you need to, you can go in and end those active sessions too. So you can view the sessions that are active, and if someone's running a session that they shouldn't be anymore, or they forgot to turn off a session, you can come in here and end that for them as well. But this is what it looks like on an admin view. So you can see, I can see a lot more classes in here than just that one teacher's classes. So a lot more going on here overall. But this is the idea on the admin side to be able to have more admin level control, more management control on the classes themselves. So that's the idea there. And scenes as well will be primarily the scenes of the one specific person. But if I go ahead and get rid of that, I can also see other people's scenes as well too, because I am an admin. So I can go through and if I need to, I could help create a scene for somebody or modify someone's scene. So there's some options on that end as well too. So a lot more control on the admin side to help teachers out, assist them with potential issues there with their classes or getting stuff set up as well too. Great. So then